food or how to use it for like not just eating, but kind of like herbal remedies, ointments, baths, things like that, like ways to use herbs. And actually, I will say that people were really generous in sharing like their excess food as well as I was. So I appreciated that too, because it was nice then, because I think a lot of people had a lot of one thing or a lot of several things that they were harvesting. It was a way to get a little variety at home. So I liked that. That stood out to me too.
Okay. And did it compare? You did mention being disappointed there wasn't like a more social atmosphere. Is there anything else that didn't compare to what you were expecting?
Not really. I think it was just like the lack of people being around, and the setup of the garden. Because I remember going to a cool community garden in Toronto on a visit, and the garden structure just felt more communal, whereas this felt very like everyone had their separate plot, separated by walkways, and there wasn't even like any community plots. I mean, there was definitely plots that weren't being used by people that everyone chipped in to work on or grow flowers or whatever. But I felt like the actual design of the garden could have contributed to more of a community feel too. Like instead of having a bunch of separate rectangle plots, maybe like a big circular plot where everyone has like a slice of it and there's a part where everyone shares too. And I think that would have helped keep the garden more managed as well.
Okay. And did anything surprise you about gardening as you were learning?
Yeah, like how not easy it is to grow certain things and how like other things seem really easy, which obviously makes sense like from like a standpoint of weather and soil, I guess, and water. You know, hatch chilies were super abundant, but it seemed like I had a lot of other plants, and I don't even remember what, that just didn't do much. I think there might have been other kinds of peppers, and I don't remember. Another thing that surprised me is like battling animals, because I wasn't really prepared to like have to combat the local pests. And I say that because I really think it was like squirrels, not nice animals that I want to really would like to feed and like help contribute to the ecosystem.
So the hatch chilies were easy, is that right? And what was hard?
I can't remember what wasn't working out now. I think it was certain types of tomatoes, like maybe, I think it was like shishito. Something like that. The watermelons were not easy, but I also probably like didn't trellis things properly either. And I also think I started way too late getting things in the ground. And I wish I would have taken that seriously, like to get those in earlier.
What were you thinking? No, I was kidding.
I guess I felt like, oh, it's hot here. It stays hot later here. It's not in Colorado compared to like the Midwest where I'm from. So I think that's what I was thinking, and so I learned a lesson from
that. Is there anything else that stood out or surprised you?
No, I don't think so.
We talked a little bit about your garden leader. Can you tell me more about the leadership in your garden?
Yeah, I think there could have been better ways of like communication. I think for me, I want to get away from social media and internet communication, like even emails. And I really would have liked to see more communication from the leadership in the garden, like maybe, you know, a billboard or something. But I think they actually did mention that had happened at one point, and they didn't find it very useful. What else? Again, like with the person who was next step down from the garden leader, like being more involved rather than bossy. And then the actual garden leader, I wouldn't change a thing. I thought she was really great and involved and helpful and positive, enthusiastic. I can't really think of anything else to say about it. I think they did like take efforts to try to get the composting sorted out and I think they even had someone come do workshops, like teaching composting, which I didn't attend just because I'd already done my own research on that. And because I knew their system was like actually rubbish and not going to work anyway, even with workshops.
Right. Too many greens.
Yeah, it was that. And they just had like chain link fence compost sections. And I don't think that really works here where it's so dry.
Yeah.
Especially not over in that garden because it's so hot and sunny over there.
Right.
I think like you need bins that hold in the moisture.
Right. Yeah.
In Denver.
Right. Okay. And how often, like how, you mentioned there was mostly email communication. Can you tell me how often they did that or what it was about, things like that?
Probably weekly during the like peak part of the season from July to October or whatever. And it was usually, it was about weeding, it was about trying to organize social events, like trying to get input from the members about when we could organize social events.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they got a lot of responses on that. And then actually organizing events and leave that alone. And, informing everyone about them. What else? And about workshops, if they organized workshops. And if there were any issues, like, I know earlier this year they had a water issue, and I asked to actually stay in contact because I thought I'd like to go help out with just the community stuff.
Yeah.
If there's events going on, but not actually have my own plot to worry about this year.
Yeah.
This was a bit too much last year for me.
Yeah. You're like the ideal member. Okay. And what were the interactions with the other gardeners like?
A lot of the times it was just like, kind of like, hi, introduction, and, people would be just kind of like ships passing in the night, I think.
Yeah.
Some people, my neighbor that lives behind me, actually like had conversations with her instead of like doing the like tool time, like over the fence thing. And, with the garden leader, I had a lot of really good conversations with her just about like general, philosophies, the education system, because she's a teacher, and getting input from her on that because I was considering becoming a teacher. That was, and then I think I had another good conversation with one of the gardeners about how to use excess harvest or harvest that hadn't quite ripened, like how to ripen it.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
And did you feel welcome there?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And we talked a little bit about some of the social events that weren't well attended. Can you tell me, I'm interested to hear what they were like in general.
They're pretty much like work meetups. I think to one of...
That's okay.
I think at one of the events, like, we had a mini potluck. And then we talked about having potlucks for other events, but then I think probably because of a lack of enthusiasm, it just kind of turned into, okay, we're just going to work and meet up, which then I think was like a vicious cycle of people not being that excited to show up because it was just a work meetup.
Yeah.
I'd actually suggested trying to meet up over the winter and try to like get people interested in meeting up even at a coffee shop or at my house, but I didn't have really any response.
Yeah.
Just to like keep in touch with each other and, maybe while people had a bit more time because the season was done to just like get to know each other. Because I thought if people got to know each other, then they'd be more enthusiastic about showing up to like work with each other.
Yeah. And so the social events were not well attended and then sort of filtered into work days. Am I getting that right? Okay.
Yeah, and that might have just been that, I don't know if there was really a whole lot of garden members actually.
Yeah.
There were a lot of empty plots.
Yeah.
And I felt like there wasn't a whole lot going on in a lot of the plots. Probably like less than half for sure.